Do you ever feel like being overly self-aware is actually blocking you from feeling your emotions? Understanding your triggers can feel empowering. It can feel insightful. And I know this because I spent years analyzing every emotion, but for some reason I still felt completely numb inside. And the reason was thinking about your emotions and intellectualizing them is not the same thing as feeling them and making space for them. So in this video, I'm going to show you a powerful new way to stop intellectualizing your feelings and start safely reconnecting to what you're truly experiencing, because that is the key. But first, you need to understand exactly how your self-awareness is leading to emotional paralysis. What is going on here? Let's talk about it. I have a theory. The more emotionally intelligent you become, the harder it can be to actually feel anything. Why is that? Well, because you've gotten really good at managing yourself instead of just being yourself. And there's a difference there, because having that sort of intellectual awareness around your emotions creates the illusion of growth and control and understanding. But in reality, you're just deepening your disconnection from your true feelings, because your feelings are happening in your body and you are experiencing them in your mind. You're learning to intellectualize your emotions instead of actually embodying them and having embodied awareness. Basically, your self-awareness has quietly turned into self-surveillance in a way. You're constantly trying to label everything and make everything make sense. And it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So tell me if this sounds familiar. You can describe exactly what you're feeling in perfect detail, but you still feel stuck, like something's not quite right within your body. You talk about your emotions constantly, but you never truly express them. And your body wants to react while your mind is rushing in to regulate everything intellectually. And when you're stuck in that pattern, guess what happens? You end up doing neither thing. You're just trapped in this uncomfortable in-between space where feeling your emotions seems really risky. Like actually embodying them and feeling them feels really dangerous, but ignoring them feels almost like fake. It's like, oh, I know they're there. That is emotional paralysis. Knowing exactly what you feel, but having no idea what to do with it. It's like watching your life unfold on a movie screen. You're analyzing the movie and the story and narrating it, and you're trying to follow the plot points, but you're not actually stepping into the story and experiencing it, and you're holding back tears, like you're not allowing yourself to cry. That's kind of how I think about it. You're observing and surveilling rather than feeling. So now that you clearly see how your brain tricks you into avoiding your emotions, let's talk about what it actually means and what it actually takes to genuinely feel them, because I feel like this is something not all of us learn to do as we're growing up. Have you ever noticed that the more you talk about your emotions, the harder they are to actually feel? Because that's what I've realized about myself. The moment you start analyzing it, and like it might sound like, I think I'm just anxious because I have this pattern with control, like you're intellectualizing the crap out of yourself, you're already outside the feeling. You're narrating it, you're managing it, you're trying to control it by making sense of it. And the second your brain takes over the emotional aspect of things, you stop listening to your body. And that's where your emotions live. It's not in your head, it's in your body. We think understanding our emotions will help us process them, but usually it just helps us avoid them while thinking like we're making progress. Feeling your emotions isn't really about naming them. It's about noticing where they exist in your body and allowing that sensation to move through your body. And I mean it, I mean where. When I say where, I mean where. Emotions are a physiological experience. They exist as tension and discomfort in the body. And you have to learn how to truly embody that feeling and allow it to move through you. Rage can feel like fire in your veins. It's supposed to feel energizing because you're supposed to go out and like right something that you perceive to be wronged. Your emotions are motivation to make you act. And frequently, every single thing in our lives comes down to avoiding an emotion. I'm not like, I've tried to find exceptions to this rule. I can't find them. They don't exist. Every single like self-sabotaging behavior that comes down to avoiding an emotion. Now, there are some people who don't intellectualize at all. And that's not great either. But for the people who are watching this video, I think your problem is you think you're aware. You think you're like, oh yeah, I have anxiety, I have this, I have that. I'm feeling sad right now, but you don't actually pay attention to your body. You're disconnected to where that emotion is showing up in the body. And ultimately, that's what you're doing when you're over intellectualizing your emotions instead of feeling them. You stop the process of allowing that feeling to move through your body. It's like you started to download a file to your computer and then you hit pause in the browser and you're not going to be able to use that file. It needs to finish downloading before you can actually benefit from what you're downloading. The same thing with feelings. You're trying to interrupt them, and then they just become this half-used file on your computer. So here's a simple way to practice feeling instead of trying to fix things intellectually. The next time you notice a strong emotion, you may be tempted to label it, but I want you to get out of your head. Drop the narrative. Don't follow the thought. Sit with the raw sensation instead. I know it's uncomfortable, but that's what emotions and feelings are. They're discomfort. So locate the sensation in your body. Where is it? What does it feel like? Is it sharp? Is it heavy? Is it hollow? Whatever adjective comes to mind, try to name it and then sit in that feeling. It's not going to hurt you. The goal here is not necessarily the intellectualization of that process. It's to find where it is in your body and to acknowledge it. Now we're going to surrender to that discomfort. If you have to, you can set a timer and close your eyes and breathe into the area of your body that is experiencing the emotion. Imagine that your breath as you inhale is creating space around the feeling in your body. You're not trying to push the feeling out. This is not an expulsion exercise. Your goal is to accommodate it while it's there. You're trying to hold it more gently. You're releasing the resistance to it because intellectualizing is about avoidance. And that is what we're trying to not do. This is what it means to go deeper into your emotion. You don't need to understand it to have it move through your body. You just need to sit with it long enough for your body to catch up with what's happening. And some of us just don't want to sit still long enough and pay attention to our bodies to do that. When you are intellectualizing your feelings, you're inadvertently cutting this process off. This is why simple awareness does not translate to the change you want to see. Real change only happens when your body feels safe enough to do something differently. And so you have to facilitate that change in your body. You can talk about your abandonment wound all day, but if your mind starts running and you become extremely anxious anytime something triggering happens, maybe it's someone taking a really long time to text you back or something like that, nothing has truly shifted in your life, in your body. You're aware of your anxiety, but you're not addressing it in a way that is making a lasting change. Awareness is the first step. That's true. But embodiment is what actually creates the shift. I like to use two tools to create a bridge from my mind to my body because that's what you need to do. The first one is meditation, which it doesn't have to be fancy. I was so avoidant of meditation for so long, but I needed to find stuff that works for me. I wouldn't call meditation fun, but it definitely feels good after you do it. And it's something that you have to build up a practice to because we are so overstimulated all day, every day. Meditation is about slowing down and not stimulating yourself. It's allowing stillness. And that is when you can get in touch with your body. Because I realized in my life, I was not allowing myself to be still or to not have thoughts or to not have something blasting in my ears. I was always listening to something or watching something or reading something. Like I could not allow my brain to just think. And I had to start doing this practice where I literally stared at the ceiling for 10 minutes after work every day. I would lay down in bed and just look up and not listen to music and not do anything. I was just looking up at my ceiling and just blink. And it actually did wonders. That was honestly how I first started meditating. But I'm going to put some links in the notes to this video. There are notes for all my videos. You can find that in the description. So if you want to get my recommendations for my favorite YouTube meditations, you can check out the notes for this video. The second one that I recommend for bridging your brain and your body is journaling. So journaling allows your intellect and your feelings to meet on the page. And that's how you can make sense of both of them. It slows you down in your thought process. You have to start picking your words more deliberately. It connects your emotions with these words, and it just comes together to reveal patterns if you end up doing it for long enough. One of the questions I get the most is, what do I journal about? And I actually have taken to writing down questions for myself whenever I have a chance on these are index cards, but you can just rip up pieces of paper, whatever you have around, sticky notes, whatever. And I keep them in this jar. And whenever I need inspiration, I will just pull out a question from this jar and use that to start writing if I don't know what I want to write. Because I think getting started is the hardest part. And so if you have a prompt from your past self, it's helpful. I actually made a list of 160 journal prompts that you can use to get clearer on the stories you're telling yourself. I'll put the link below to this product. This has been a really useful tool for me when I have no idea what I want to write down, but I know I need to journal something. So hopefully you guys will find this helpful. Most of us run into the same emotions and problems over and over again in our lives, and journaling just allows you to unpack that. It helps you with emotional paralysis by giving your feelings a safe, structured place to move instead of staying stuck in your body or revisiting it over and over again in your mind, like just being stuck in an overthinking loop. Remember, none of this is about solving the emotion. It's about making space for it so it can finally move through your body. And you want to make space for it and then release it. It's not about like expelling it. It's being comfortable while it exists. And if you struggle with the overthinking part of this, you should watch this next video about how to stop those anxious thoughts from spiraling out of control. Thank you so much for getting to the end. Please consider subscribing to this channel as well as my newsletter, which has become really fun to write. I'm trying to hit a certain subscriber goal over there. So if you think that's something that you'd benefit from, please consider looking into it, and I will see you in the next one.